Hello and good day. Welcome to our video channel, God's Promises. And today's video will be Psalm chapter 89. Let's get started now. Psalm 89 is a prayer and meditation on God's faithfulness and promises to King David and his descendants. The psalmist expresses confidence in God's steadfast love and power to save, even in the face of difficult circumstances. The psalm begins with a declaration of God's faithfulness and steadfast love. The psalmist extols the Lord's greatness and declares that his love endures forever. The psalmist affirms that God's faithfulness is established in heaven and his promises are as firm as the heavens themselves. The psalm then turns to God's covenant with King David. The psalmist recalls how God chose David and anointed him as king over Israel. The psalmist affirms that God promised to establish David's dynasty forever and make his throne endure through all generations. The psalmist then acknowledges that the present circumstances do not seem to reflect God's faithfulness and promises. The psalmist observes that David's dynasty has been cast down and his throne has been overthrown. The psalmist asks God how long he will hide his face and allow his people to suffer. Despite the apparent contradiction between God's promises and the present circumstances, the psalmist does not lose faith. The psalmist affirms that God is still powerful and faithful to his promises. The psalmist asks God to remember his covenant with David and to act on behalf of his people. The psalm ends with a plea for God to intervene and save his people. The psalmist acknowledges that only God can save them from their enemies and restore their fortunes. The psalmist expresses confidence that God will act on behalf of his people and bring them back to prosperity and joy. The teaching application of Psalm 89 is that we can trust in God's faithfulness and promises, even when circumstances seem to contradict them. Just as God was faithful to his covenant with David, so he is faithful to his promises to us. We may face trials and difficulties, but we can have confidence that God is still in control and will act on our behalf. Like the psalmist, we can pray and plead with God to remember his promises and to intervene on our behalf. Ultimately, our hope is in God's steadfast love and power to save. Thank you for visiting us today. Please share with us your favorite Bible verse below in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really does help our channel grow. Looking forward to see you back here for our next video. Always take good care.